Thank you.
Good morning, Secretary. I'm Jim from the Associated Press.
Can you speak
texting
louder, huh? My eardrums
Opo.
popped because
Okay,
of the
yeah.
flight.
Yes, Secretary. Secretary, looking forward in the planned negotiations between China and the Philippines, will the July 12 arbitration decision be at the core and every aspect of those negotiations? And will the Philippines tell China that its framework for those negotiations at the start would be the July 12 decision, or proceed with the negotiations and agree with China not to mention the July 12 decision at all and just keep it in your spirits?
To begin with, China and the Philippines are both signatories to UNCLOS. China and the Philippines have consistently expressed their adherence to international law and abiding commitment to UNCLOS. So we would hope that in the negotiations with China or engagements with China for bilateral talks, we would be able to settle our disputes as regards the China Sea within the ambit of international law and the 1982 UNCLOS. Whether you would like to say that it will make reference to the arbitral tribunal is something that may or may not happen, but the objective is to resolve the dispute within the context of these principles of international law and specifically the 1982 UNCLOS provisions.
Sir, I think the references to what happened in Laos is being framed in the event that happened in 2012 in Cambodia, when the DFA team then did not agree to Cambodia's proposal not to include any reference to the South China Sea in the joint communique. So there was no communique in 2012. That position was different. What we saw in Laos was different. So it's this position of yours that you took in Laos. It was different in 2012. Is it in reference to President Duterte's softer approach to China, or
No.
How did you
It
come
had
up
nothing
with
to
this
do
decision?
with our position perceived or otherwise as being soft or firm with China, or China being firm or soft with the Philippines. It is a position taken by all of the members of ASEAN on a unanimous basis to ensure that the general principles and foundations upon which it had been established will be upheld, and its credibility and effectivity as a regional group in this area will be maintained and safeguarded. So that is how ASEAN had looked at this matter. Again, as I've said, they have not taken any stand or side or partiality with respect to the merits of our claims. We have only stated before that if the decision was going to be in favor of China, we will respect it. If it was going to be in favor of the Philippines, because China and the Philippines are both signatories to UNCLOS, we would expect that China would also respect that decision. Be that as it may, the actual resolution of this dispute between China and the Philippines is a matter between China and the Philippines.
Secretary, Lois Calderon of Business World. This statement, the ASEAN statement, portions of that you've read earlier said that...
Can you say that again, please?
Portions of the ASEAN statement that you've read earlier, of course, mentioned that there will be respect for legal and diplomatic processes. But early on, before you talked about the ASEAN statement, you also said that, but while the tribunal gave us basis to move forward to have a peaceful resolution of the South China Sea issue, that legal basis will have to give way to diplomatic processes. What do you mean by that? 'Cause
Yeah,
you could not
I mean,
reconcile those two things.
ASEAN recognized and respected the legal processes that we went through in filing the case before the arbitral tribunal, because that is what UNCLOS provides. UNCLOS is the set of agreement that provides not only the grant of exclusive economic zone and certain responsibility of keeping that area environmentally healthy and preserving it, but more importantly, it also provides for the manner at which disputes should be settled peacefully, including compulsory arbitration. That legal process was completed when the arbitral tribunal rendered its decision, which is final and binding. Putting that aside, we now proceed with the diplomatic process in making sure that international law and UNCLOS will be respected.
So, Secretary,
We have time for two more questions.
clarification.
Pat and the gentleman in blue.
Hi, sir. Paterno S. Makel from Rappler. Sir, you were quoted by Agence France Presse as saying, in Laos, the other countries are not part of our filing of the case before the arbitral tribunal, so why would we insist that it be put in the ASEAN statement? And, well, many people are saying our neighbors are coastal states, Vietnam, Malaysia, Indonesia, and the ruling affects them. So how can we say that it doesn't, ASEAN has nothing to do with this dispute or this case filed by the Philippines against China? How would you respond to
Well,
this?
to begin
Mr.
with,
Secretary?
I dispute your contention that I said that in my interview with Rappler,
With Agence France Presse.
with
in
Agence
Laos.
Francois, with Agence Presse, Agence
Actually,
AFP.
actually, they said it's an interview with reporters who covered you in Laos. So,
No, I did not have any interview with reporters in Laos. I had only yesterday an interview with the Philippine press, explaining to them that we have arrived at this joint communique. Never mentioned that. And this is precisely the point I want to say now. Whether you would raise that as true or not is water under the bridge. And I'm denying that I've said this. The important thing is ASEAN came up with a unified statement, and it came up with that joint communique report.
Sir, sorry. I think the reporters who interviewed you were Filipinos, but they work for international agencies. So, yeah.
Yes, yes. I hope you will not belabor that point, because as I've said, I've never said those things. All right? And please don't put words into my mouth. Yeah.
Yes.
Morning. Sir, Christian Esguerra from ANC. Just for the record, did you actually push during the meeting in ASEAN, did you actually push for the inclusion of a clear reference to the arbitral ruling in the joint statement?
Yes, vigorously. I pushed for the inclusion and mentioning of the arbitral tribunal award. Again, this was a diplomatic tact that had to be made. But we knew that there was a middle ground without compromising the rights of the Philippines and the award that was recognized by the arbitral tribunal. And I'm very happy with the joint communique statement and the unified statement of ASEAN. As I've said, and let me make this as a concluding statement, I'm very proud of ASEAN. I'm very proud that ASEAN has recognized its key role as a regional group that upholds its centrality and solidarity in addressing various problems and concerns in the region. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We have already reached the 30 minutes allotted for this press conference. With the Secretary's permission, I would like to close this press conference. Thank you very much to everyone. Hello. Excuse me, meron kang important announcement, no? We need to set up now, no, to cover the arrival of Secretary Kerry. So all the photographers, video, and still may now proceed, no, in an orderly manner sa lobby to position themselves. There will be a second security sweep sa lobby, no? So lahat ng magpupunta ron will be subjected to a security check. Those who would like to remain here may do so. But we request lahat ng mga tao to please iwan ninyong equipment, leave